Good morning, boys and girls, and all of God's children. Welcome to the Church School Neighborhood. I'm Sister Angie Spears, the excited Church School Superintendent. What a wonderful, wonderful lesson we have for you today. Today's lesson is titled, The Christian Spirit in Industry. And our lesson is coming from Deuteronomy, Ephesians, and 1 Timothy. Our very special word for today is actually a phrase, leave something as in leave something behind. And when we take a look at the memory verse, the key verse, we'll understand exactly what that means. And then it is Patches and Daisy who also have excellent examples. Let's go to the memory verse first. And it comes from Deuteronomy 24. When you reap your harvest in the field and forget a sheaf in the field, you shall not go back to get it. It shall be left for the alien, the orphan, and the widow, so that the Lord your God may bless you in all your undertakings. Well, we don't really talk about sheaves, but what a sheaf is, people were harvesting grain. So they go out in the field and they grab the grain and then they put it in bundles. And the lesson is saying, God is saying, when you go to harvest, now you're picking everything out of the field and you're taking it into the home. If you have a sheaf and you find out that you've dropped it in the field, don't go back and get it. Let it stay. There's going to be someone who's very poor and needy, and it will be a help to them. So in other words, leave something there. In this lesson, we have 3 different scriptures. Again, it's Deuteronomy, Ephesians, and 1 Timothy. And each one makes that point of helping others. When we're looking at the lesson in Ephesians, we're told that people who employ others, they should not be mean to them or threaten them. When we're in Deuteronomy, it talks about employers paying their workers fairly and also paying them right away so the people don't have to wait because they really need to be paid. And then when we get to 1 Timothy, it says, those who are rich should also be rich in good deeds, and they should be generous and willing to share. So doesn't that help us understand more what we're talking about when we say, leave something behind? Don't try to take everything. Leave something for someone else. And again, that example in Deuteronomy was very relevant because the people were farmers, and they certainly understood that when you go out into the field, if you drop something, don't go back and get everyone that you dropped. Leave some there for the poor people who may come along and they're really hungry. Well, as I said, it is Patches and it is Daisy who have great examples. Patches, what did you want to share? Well, as you know, Patches has the cousin Timothy, and he's in college. Well, when Timothy went off to college, he had scholarships for sports. His parents were paying his tuition, and they said, Timmy, if you want spending money, you're going to have to get a job. We're not going to pay for everything. So what did Timmy do? He looked for a job, and one day he saw a note on the bulletin board. It was a restaurant right across the street from the school, from the campus. And when he goes, the owner says, well, I'm going to have you start and another student, and I'm going to decide after a week or 2 which one I can really keep, right? So I'll pay you, but the one that I think does the best, that's the one I'll be able to keep. Well, what happened, Patches? Timmy says that right after the very first day, the man came to Timmy and the other student and said, at the end of the night, we always have quite a bit of food left over, and we take it to the shelter. And he says, but you guys are college students, so you can help yourself if you want something, but everything goes to the shelter. But if you want to take something that's part of the leftover you can. Well, right away, the other guy goes back in the restaurant. He gets 2 great big bags and fills them up. And what does Timmy do? Timmy took 2 plates, 2 containers to go back to campus. And the man was watching, and he said at the end of the day, he says, the next day, he says, I've made up my mind. He says, to Timmy, he says, you did the right thing. You were thinking of other people. You didn't just try to take everything for yourself. You left something behind for those who need it. Isn't that exactly like our lesson? Yes, it is. Daisy, what did you want to share? Well, it was 2 years ago, and it was an Easter egg hunt at the local park. And at the Easter egg hunt, it was all children, elementary school and younger. And at the beginning, somebody blows a whistle, and that's when the children can go out and get the eggs. And most of the children had little bags or baskets, what have you. What Daisy does, she gets about 3 eggs. Some kids are filling up baskets, they're filling up their pockets, etc. But what did you do, Daisy? Daisy, after she had 3 for herself, she started helping the littler children to find eggs. She felt sorry for them. And the other kids were, even though they were all elementary school, when you're 3 years old and you have a big 7 or 8-year-old running by you, they really were a little bit overwhelmed. So Daisy started helping the little ones to find eggs. There was someone who was watching, one of the organizers. And after the hunt, he came over to Daisy's mom and he says, I was watching your daughter. I've never seen that kind of heart with a young person. She left something for others. And then the man reached in his pocket. He said, if you don't mind, he gave Daisy's mom $100. He said, do you mind putting this in a savings account for her? Isn't that great? Wonderful, wonderful, Daisy. And Daisy didn't do it because of money. She did it because she wanted to help, and someone noticed and wanted to be a blessing. And God is noticing when we are doing things to help others. So let's go back to the memory verse, and we've shortened it just a little bit. When you reap your harvest in the field and forget a sheaf in the field, you shall not go back to get it. It shall be left for the needy. Let's say that again. When you reap your harvest in your field and forget a sheaf in the field, you shall not go back to get it. It shall be left for the needy. Do you think you can fill that in when some of the words are missing? Let's see. When you reap your harvest in your field and forget a sheaf in the field, you shall not go back to get it. It shall be left for the needy. Great job. Wonderful, wonderful job. And I know you're going to get so much from this church school lesson as you go over it with your church school teacher. We trust that you will join us on next week. Next week, our lesson, and next week is actually Pentecost Sunday. Our lesson is titled The Christian View of Recreation, and it will come from Mark chapter 2, verses 18 through 28. Until next week, God bless you. Bye-bye.